welcome back to the G.B.B, your host Jay once again. On this video, I'm joined by Shan's in London. Boys, what up?
How's it going? What's happening?
Manchester United has played the Hammers and lost 3-1 once again. Manchester United doing what Manchester United has done of late and lost to a team that we should have beaten. We've got obviously big name players. We've spent big money. They've spent big money as well. But for the stature of the club compared to Manchester United, we should have came away with the 3-1 win. But we haven't. And they get the spoils again. Once again, the Giant Killers have done the David and Goliath. And they look the better team for it. Manchester United looked an absolute shambles. Build-up play was lacking. Intent was lacking. Crossing ability, finishing ability, defensive ability, everything was amiss. Even though we see the change with Sanchez going out and Martial coming in, we still didn't play like we had the better players or pace or quality whatsoever. Mourinho's decision to obviously play McTominay as a centre-back is very questionable. And it's obviously been a big discussion in the media and in all the punditry. What can we say about this performance that, you know, the players didn't really show and turn up on the day? Shan's, London, let me get your thoughts, guys.
Well, with our attacking prowess when Rashford was on and Martial sort of linking up, we came away with some shots, missed targets, but really, like you say, when we've got players that we're paying that much money, they need to be finding the target and getting these goals for us to win games. The sad fact is when Rashford did score his goal, it was overshadowed by Pogba coming off. So I think had a bigger celebration or a bigger momentum builder from that would have seen us right through the game. But at the moment, Manchester United is looking terrible. For us to lose to a team that has won one game and drawn a game in the season so far, it's indicative of our form.
Yeah, I agree. They look like the more dangerous team. Even though Zabaleta was offside now upon review, the fact that our heads dropped the way that it did and we allowed that second goal to go in before halftime, it reeks of all the negative games and the negative performances that the team has put in. Soon as that second goal goes in, you just see everyone pretty much give up. Bar Rashford, obviously, that came on for the substitution. Like you say, Shan's overshadowed by Pogba going off. Rashford was a bright spark. From the second he came on, he was making runs, he was taking on defenders, he bossed on that right-hand side, which is fantastic to see. And then obviously pops up and gets the goal. But then does the team rally behind that and take that momentum shift? No, we don't. We actually concede a goal pretty much straight away to put the deficit back to 2 goals. And just the negativity about our style of play, the fact that whether the players are playing for Mourinho or not playing for Mourinho or just don't care. There's some professional pride that needs to be taken when you're performing. And these guys are not doing themselves any favors because if any of them think they're going to move on before Mourinho gets moved on and go to another club, they are not giving themselves a shining representation of their ability. Luke Shaw is probably, or you can say out and out has been our best player, giving his all every single game that he's played. You can't say the same for the rest of the team. You can't say the rest for every single player. And as much as there's the saga going on between Jose Mourinho and Pogba doesn't do himself any favors either. Coming out and speaking in the media, they're not showing his ability on the pitch. Whether Mourinho was making him play defensively or positioning him defensively, Pogba still needs to show his quality. And he was completely off form. He was out of timing. He was out of touch with the game. And his substitution was actually, I welcomed his substitution because he wasn't performing. Like Mourinho said earlier in the week in a couple of press conferences, no one player is bigger than the club. Right now, the focus, when you say Manchester United, everyone's looking at Mourinho and Pogba. And that's not obscuring from the weak performances that Manchester United are putting in at the moment, because that's what it comes down to. On the pitch, yes, it's Mourinho's tactics, but these players have the ability to do better than what they are doing at the moment. And a 3-1 loss to a team that hasn't had a win this season. And Shannon, tell me if I'm wrong. I said to you before the game, Manchester United are going to lose this game, and I was prepared to put money on it, and you stopped me. I would have bought you a nice pint of beer had that bet have come off.
Yeah, but they lost because you thought they'd lose.
They lost because I knew they'd lose. That's the difference. Me being the supporter that I am, and like we said, I'm the romantic one between the two of us about football. Looking at this Manchester United team, there is something fundamentally wrong in the mindset, which is controlled by Jose Mourinho, and in the mindset for, the outside looking in is negative, and for what we're seeing on the inside between players and the manager, it's negative. London, you watched the game with me. What was your thoughts on the game?
Look, my take on it is a bit different. Yes, you lot are going to see the negative sides of Man United, but a lot of people downplayed how well West Ham played. Yes, West Ham are in a low position, but they've got a load of new players who've had to adapt. They've been very unlucky with some of the results that they've got this season. So if you go by West Ham's performances and not their stats, then you'll realise it's not such a dramatic loss in Man United's way. But the only reason why it seems so dramatic is because of not Man United's form, because of this Mourinho and Pogba show. Like the amount of times on Saturday that the game was on is that Pogba didn't really do anything bad the other day. He didn't do anything good, but the amount of times the camera swung onto him and Mourinho, and I was like, well, why is it still that entertainment of them two? And why is it not about the team? You know what I'm trying to say? I just thought that the media, they've been doing it for a very long time. They're playing into all this crap.
Yeah.
They're feeding into all of it, you know what I'm trying to say? And then it just seems worse and worse and worse. Like, realistically, Pogba shouldn't even be mentioned about Saturday. Yes, he didn't have a brilliant game, but he wasn't the worst player on the pitch. You know what I'm trying to say? It should be the simple factor of, you know what, it was a bad performance by Man United. They didn't get it right, and West Ham done very well to win, because they still have to go out there and perform. I just think it's from a professional point of view, it's a bit disrespectful in West Ham's regard, is that people are kind of downplaying how well they performed, because they've still got to come out and do the business regardless of whatever the past results are. And I think that was just the situation. I don't know. I'm getting very bored of this situation. It's like you're not talking about Man United. You're talking about Pogba and Mourinho.
Yeah.
Like, it's very boring. Like all the news that I'm reading back home and stuff like that is all about Mourinho and Pogba. And it just shouldn't be. It just shouldn't be that situation.
And that's the problem with this whole narrative, because, like you say, and don't let what I'm saying take away from exactly what you're saying. You're correct. West Ham have been unlucky. West Ham have a lot of quality players. West Ham play good football. West Ham beat us out and out. But the problem that I have, and what the media constantly highlights, is the negativity around Manchester United. But I think that negativity, which it never did before, and London, you'll know, the English media are always out to get Manchester United. They're always out to get Jose Mourinho. And what's happened is those two entities are now one. They're one figure that they can attack constantly. But I think the biggest problem now is that negativity from the media has sunk in at the club. Because, yes, Hammers are a good team. But then the same was said about Wolves that we got to draw with. But we should be beating these teams. We've got more than enough quality to get a win against them. For us to go in and beat Watford, who were unbeaten till that point, why doesn't Manchester United have the ability to keep going and keep winning ways happening? For the amount of games that we've lost at home, when you talk about that psychological edge of being at home and you should have the home ground advantage, it's been the exact opposite of that. When Manchester United have played at home, we've been worse and we've played worse on our own deck. We go away to Bern and we beat Young Boys. Again, Young Boys is the one that everyone's saying we should have been able to get points at. The fact that we beat Young Boys means nothing because we should have beat them. If we had beat Hammers on the weekend, everyone would have looked at it and went, well, you should be beating Hammers with the Manchester United team that we have. But when we do lose, the narrative is what's wrong with Manchester United. And you can't dismiss that fact that something is definitely wrong. Because the performances, London, even when you say Hammers are a good team, tell me you saw any intent from Manchester United to push them. Whenever we didn't have the ball, we were backpedaling. Yes, when they had the ball, and I probably said it a few times, they had 11 men in the box trying to stop Manchester United from coming forward. But the problem is when they do get on a break, because there's no confidence within the team themselves in our defensive line, the defenders are sprinting back and not tracking the ball, not tracking their man, and the midfielders are just jogging to get back. So then we get caught and they get a shot off or they get an opportunity where Arnautovic's second goal was completely schoolboy tactics by Manchester United. He got the ball and he just walked through one-on-one with De Gea and just slots it past him. What Premier League team should ever be caught out the way that we got caught out there? There was never a...
With that, it's not, that's not confidence, that's just desire. Like,
yeah. And that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying is fundamentally wrong. We lose the ball in their half, on the edge of their box, and they break like it's a World Cup final. We don't. We get the ball and we walk it up and we're passing side to side, and now and then we'll get a cross in. And Ashley Young finished, out of 7 crosses, he completed 2. And the conversation that we were having is that I was saying he was a bad cross. He obviously delivered 1 or 2 balls that obviously met their targets. But from the stats and that corner that he took where the ball didn't even get off the ground and it didn't even make it into the box. It goes straight to a Hammers player that's on the edge of the box and they make a run and go at us. Professionals should not be doing that. Professionals should not be, fluffing the ball the way that he did over and over and over again. But I think it's not the quality of him that's doing that. It's a lack of confidence in this team and the lack of confidence in the strategy or whatever it is that we're trying to play. It's not obvious what we're trying to... the style is not there. So for whatever reason, we had this conversation and you can't change 30 or 35 players, whatever we have, because we've pretty much rolled and played every single one of our available players in the first team and haven't bedded down a combination that works. You can't change every single one of those players. You're not going to be able to change the board. There's only one position that can change. And that's going to be Mourinho if this doesn't turn around. But guys, we're not going to get into that now. We've actually got a video coming out where we'll be talking about Mourinho and the situation at United. As usual, we've done our Pick the 11s. Shan and I go head to head, picking our team for the starting 11. And we get a point per player that obviously Jose picks. And this week, we are tied, 7 apiece. So that means I stay in the lead, but Shan's is obviously there and thereabouts. The score predictions obviously weren't anywhere near 3-1, with Manchester United having another loss although I would have put money on it. Guys, thanks for joining us. London, Shannon, thanks for joining me on this video. And we'll see you in the next one. Shot.